Hello my soccer universe, what an eventful Italian midweek. We had only 3 games, 2 in the cup and 1 in the league, but plenty of storylines. We had 2 really good Coppa Italia fixtures where we had an upset with Bologna going to Atalanta and beating them and giving themselves a chance to advance to the final. They have to play the winner of Juve Empoli, and in the form that Bologna are in, I will not put it beyond them. We had a rather positive performance in a really open match of Milan against Roma, where new signings came on as substitutes and actually lifted the spirit quite some. And then we had a major result in Serie A, the makeup game. Fiorentina won, which was of course celebrated in Naples hugely because they have now a 3-point lead over Inter. And probably not so much by Milan fans, because Fiorentina now are another team that you have to catch if you want to finish top 4. And remember, while after match day 7 in the Champions League, Serie A had a really good chance of getting this 5th spot, the results in match day 8 were so bad that it's almost a coin flip now, still slightly in favor of Serie A, thanks to them having a few more teams present in Europe. But yeah, I would say let's review the Cup and the league action. The first quarterfinal, and if you look at league standings, actually the best, at least this week, and the second best overall, between Atalanta and Bologna ended with a minor shock. Bologna going to Bergamo and beating Ladea 1-0, thanks to a late Castro goal. However, I have to say, this was overall a rather enjoyable up and down game where I felt that Atalanta had more of the game, more of the chances. However, whenever Bologna got close to the goal, they created chances and were well in the game. I also have a feeling that around the 60th minute, Gasperini kind of says, screw the cup. He took off almost all his best players. Sabacosta, Paslic and Retegui came off, and then Cuadrado, Samacic and Maldini, he's now playing for Atalanta, came on. The Ketelare came off a little bit later as well. True, they were not super effective. However, I have the feeling that he saved them for the league, and it's then in the 80th minute when Elucuyane's free kick finds Castro, who heads it home. As I said, game relatively open overall. Bologna had their chances, and I wouldn't say that this win was undeserved. Well, for once we had a positive atmosphere at the San Siro thanks to a few late signings for Milan that really lifted the fan base, I gotta say. And we got a fun game, Milan beating Roma in the other quarterfinal 3-1 at home. So it's definitely the big name matchup, although both teams are further down the table than in the other quarterfinal. Milan really on the front foot, creating a few chances, and after Reinders' shot was blocked off, the ball falls to Theo Hernandez, who was not offside, lobs it in, and Tammy Abraham against his former side with a brilliant header makes it 1-0. Didn't celebrate, however, the boos from the Roma fans you could hear, but Roma was not deterred. This was a game that was also pretty open, and Roma did have the chances. I think Pizzilli even hit the crossbar, and I would say around the 30th, 35th minute you really felt that Roma actually might get themselves back into this game. And then who knows what will happen with this relatively weak Milan side, until Mats Hummels decided, let's try to stop an attack, and that was not to the favor of Roma. It was a Musa pass that finds again Theo Hernandez, who is then isolated on the left side. However, Tammy Abraham is already behind the line, and Mats Hummels goes forward, tries to get the interception. That leaves Tammy Abraham free on goal, and it's 2-0 at halftime. However, right after half, first Kyle Walker actually hits also the top of the crossbar with a header, but Roma substitutes actually made some change. Pellegrini, Rensch and Dovbyk came on, and a cross in is deflected by Kyle Walker into Dovbyk's path. In the 54th minute, it's 2-1. Game very much on. But then came the big substitutions. The new signings Jimenez and Joao Felix came on. The energy in the stadium actually lifted quite some, and from that moment on I really felt that Milan have the upper hand. They did have opportunities, they did create a few chances, and it seemed like a matter of time until the third goal came. It came then when, in a similar action as for the 2-0, Hummels wants to get an interception, which leaves Joao Felix relatively free on, and Jimenez plays the ball in. And it's 3-1, he lobs the goalkeeper. Then Roma almost got back into the game because Reinders had it into his own net, but there was an offside in the build-up, and I actually had then the feeling that Milan are closer to the fourth than Roma are to the second goal. I think it was a good win for Milan. It was a really positive performance. You're still in for the cup. You now have to face the winner of an Inter-Lazio clash, so the possibility for 7 Milan derbies is still very much alive, but this definitely gave you renewed energies, and let's see if this can go over into the league as well. Inter's makeup game drama continues. After losing the title to Milan in 22 because they lost the makeup game at Bologna, now Fiorentina beat them 3-0 in a game that needed to be finished starting the 16th minute because Bobe suffered something like a cardiac arrest back in the fall. And I have to say, I watched the game, and in the first half, it definitely seemed that Inter have more of the game, were a little bit more proactive, even had a goal. However, it was disallowed for a clear offside. But Fiorentina did have a big chance when Moise Kean gets a header onto goal that Sommer just saves because it's very close to his feet. But this was a huge chance for Fiorentina. It definitely gave them a little bit of a lift. But the game itself was kind of a little bit stalling, and Fiorentina were definitely waiting to pounce on Inter. And that's exactly what happened in the second half. It was a Mandragora cross in that Ranieri, a defender that I don't have high opinion of, just one time into the net in the 59th minute. Fiorentina have the lead. Inter now need to come out, and again they get caught, and Dodo gets a cross in, and Moise Kean gets his goal in the 68th minute. Wild celebrations at this moment. Everyone knew that Fiorentina has a huge chance of winning that one and actually boosting the chances of finishing top 4 greatly. Inter then brought on the cavalry, and yes, Simone Inzaghi probably has tinkered a little bit too much with his squad. Di Marco, Barella, and then later Arnautovic and Taremi and Aslani came on. I mean, the latter three maybe not as much of a big deal, but without Di Marco and Barella, you could see there's a little bit missing for Inter as well. Di Marco tried a long-range shot that De Gea easily saved, and as they're pushing again, counter-attack, the ball comes to Moise Kean, who then from far out, as Samo comes out of his net, converts and makes it 3-0. The XG on the game is in Fiorentina's favor, 0.79 to 0.44, but it also tells a story that Fiorentina was very opportunistic in their conversion rate, whereas Inter didn't create all that much. I said in the opener, that win for Fiorentina was humongous because now they sit in 4th place and have a really good shot of finishing top 4. They also put some distance between themselves, Juventus, Milan and Bologna, 3 teams that you would expect that they could catch up. Lazio is also in there, so it's a real fight for that final spot. If you look now at the championship, I mean, it's a huge swing. Inter were still the favorites ahead of this match day, and I would argue that Inter definitely have the deeper squad than Napoli. However, Napoli only play once a week, whereas Inter are still present in all competitions. Will they forgo the Coppa Italia? That is a big question that I'm asking myself right now. Put in all your cards on the championship and the Champions League, of course. At the moment, model still has Inter slightly in front. However, the model does not take into account the difference in schedules, and so I would say this is very much still a 50-50. We have a head-to-head coming, and if Napoli get out of that one without losing to Inter, then I think it's Napoli's league to lose. We already looked at the upcoming Serie A round in my previous review video of the past weekend. However, I want to point out that most teams on the top play teams from the bottom. So this should be rather lopsided, but this also means that it's must win, especially for the likes of Juventus, Milan, Bologna, and so on. There's only one big clash, and that is on Monday evening, Inter against Fiorentina. So Inter get the chance for revenge already, but they might be 6 points down at that stage already because Napoli is expected to win against Udinese. However, do not underestimate Udinese, who can be a really good team on their day. So that was it from me, from Serie A and the Coppa Italia, of course. I really didn't like that for the Coppa Italia we had now only 2 fixtures and there are 2 more, so we don't know the semi-final lineup for now, but we know that Bologna will face either Juventus or Empoli, so most likely Juventus in a 2-legged semi-final, and Milan, the winner of Inter against Lazio, so a Milan derby is beckoning, I guess, unless Inter let it all slide and say we don't need to win the Coppa Italia. But you know, all to be decided yet. In any case, please let me know in the comments below what you thought about the action this midweek. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. I'll talk to you soon about more things in my soccer universe. Bye! Hey there! I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!